Hi there, welcome to the Player YouTube channel. My name's AJ and amongst other things, yes, we do car reviews, but we do a shitload of other stuff as well, trust me. Run the VT. This is how a car should sound. Listen to this. Show us your big chopper, your helicopter. Absolutely.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. There's a comment here, guys, if you want to write it for any reason and ask what a bus is on. Yeah, just give me a shout and I'll explain.
Guess what? It's another morning here out in sunny France. Check it out. You send it out to everyone and get those answers coming in. Competition is putting me right on here. Guys, doesn't get much better than this. We are walking down pit lane, Monaco. Check this out. So it's like taking a picture. Wow.
It's almost like people respect a car these days, don't they? Yeah. Running.
Wait, Jimmy Allen. Oh, big hello. Hello, mate. Yeah.
I didn't really mean it here, but I was just saying a bit.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
I love this car. Get the back. I woke up this morning and I didn't know what I was going to get for my birthday, and then someone told me I was going to get an E-Type. And holy crap! Here we go, guys. Look at that bonnet on the E-Type. She is still in one piece. So here we are, the Morgan Roadster. Here, actually, is a lovely. There's the beat. My name's Andy Jones. Welcome to the world of the player. So this week's car is not what you're thinking. In actual fact, it's that thing's direct competitor. It's the Kia EV6 all-electric offering. It is absolutely stunning. This could be the ultimate electric car if you're looking for one, because it's got everything on it and it's a decent price. They start from around 40,000 UK pounds. They're available in 6 different colours, including this stunning yacht blue. There you go. Let's get around it, let's get underneath it, get it out on the road and give you our evaluation, what we think of the new Kia EV6. With the Kia EV6, there are 4 different trim levels. Your entry-level car is the Air, and it comes in just under £41,000. We'll talk about that in a minute. Your next level up is the GT line. Now that one will come in around £43,000. That's the car that we've got here testing today. So it's one up from the entry level. Then you've got a GT Line S, which is around 48,000, bit more kit, a few bits of pieces that you get extra. And if you really want to go silly, there is a bonkers, absolutely bonkers GT, which starts at around 59,000 UK pounds. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get under the bonnet. And there is an under the bonnet section to this actual review, believe it or not. Let's talk about the entry-level car, because that's really where I'm focusing our review this week. You get 19-inch alloys as standard. You get LED front and rear headlights, which these ones are really nice. I love the way they've been cut in. There's a load of little design bits on this car that are superbly done. Without banging my elbow there, this is a foldy innie heated mirror. That comes as standard as well. You get aircon, you get cruise control, and you get a heated steering wheel. Very nice indeed for those cold winter mornings when you come out and you jump in your car. You get leather seats all the way around, and the front ones are electronically adjustable. And just in case when you're reversing, with the standard entry-level option, you will get a reverse camera and some beepers, front and rear. Right, let's check out under the bonnet of the EV6. The bonnet release catch is down here in the driver's footwell, just like a conventional car, no different. The only difference, obviously, is if you've got a left-hand drive car, it's not going to be in the driver's side, it's going to be in the passenger side, because they're not going to move it around, costs too much money. The actual lever itself is in the middle, just underneath the Kia badge there. Love that new Kia badge, it's so much nicer than the old one. You've got a couple of decent gas struts on this, so very premium. I like that. I think it's nice. Now, under here, that's exactly what I was expecting. You're either going to get a fruit or a frunk, or in this case, we're going to call this a frox, because it is a box at the front. If you've got a name for it, leave it in the comment box down below. Try not to be too rude, but I do enjoy some of your suggestions. I find them quite funny. So send them in, let me know. Let's have a look inside the frox, and it's a great place to keep that's your home charger in there. That's the little one that you plug in. And then you've got your sort of out and about charger there, which is the spare one when you need it, just to plug it in. But it will take all of that easily, and you can put your sandwiches in there and whatever else you need, and that pops in there. Now, this is the bigger of the froxes. Now, it's getting a bit complicated, isn't it? The reason is, you see, if you go for the four-wheel drive version of this, you end up with another motor up the front here. You get two motors, one at the back, one at the front. This is a rear-wheel drive, so it gets the bigger one. So with the four-wheel drive one, this sort of becomes a little bit smaller, so you might not be able to get as much in there as what as what I've got in this one. However, it's still very useful, whatever happens, and it's still a frox in my opinion. Battery choices. Well, there's only one battery choice with the EV6. It's a 77.4 kilowatt battery, but there are three different levels of power output. You've got a 225 brake horsepower equivalent version of this car. It will do 0 to 60 in around about 7.5 seconds, which isn't too bad at all. We then jump up to a 325 brake horsepower version, which will give you a 0 to 60 time of 5.2 seconds. And then finally, if any of those weren't enough, I'm sure the 325 would be more than fast enough, you can go for that new GT model, which will give you 577 brake horsepower with a 0 to 60 time, wait for it, 3.4 seconds. That's absolutely insane. That's definitely Tesla territory. Top speed, they're all around about 115 miles an hour limited, and I think that's probably just to keep us all safe. But can you imagine that? 577 brake horsepower. You hit the floor with that, you're going to be like up the road like that. It's going to be absolutely mad. We need to talk about charging times on this, so let's crack on and do that now. Right, AJ Book of Truth time. When this car arrived last week, I was looking around for the charging port because I wanted to top it up. I couldn't find it. I looked everywhere. I looked at the front, both sides. I looked around the front grille and everything, couldn't find it. I looked around the back here, still couldn't find it. I had to go on YouTube and type in, where is the charging port on the EV6? Then I realised my error. It's here. So how do you access it? Well, that's the good thing. If you push the button like that, check that out. How good is that? But that really confused me. At least I'm truthful. I could have made out I knew that all along and got away with it, because you wouldn't have known. But I thought I'd let you know anyway. So here's your charging port, obviously, AC, DC. It's always round, whichever way you want to use it. Don't forget, guys, it's IP68 rated. It's not going to blow you up. You can stick your fingers in there. You can, even if it's rainy, you don't need to put gloves on or anything. It's all totally, totally safe. I do love the fact that you can close it as well, just by pushing the button like that. Look at that. That's just like really nice little touch. Push it in the middle, by the way, like, there you go. If you've got to find the little right place, and then you push it and it works. Let's talk some charging times and give you a little bit less on the range anxiety stakes. This car on the 77.4 kilowatt battery will give you, well, Kia say, 328 miles of range. I am currently getting, I'm very pleased to say, 287, which is incredible. And that is real world. I'm getting over 4.1 kilometres to the mile. Do you know what? It does my brain in this. You have to think about it. So I do 4.1 miles to the kilowatt. There you go, I got it right. And each kilowatt mile is equivalent to 33 miles per gallon in a piston engine. So working out 4.1, that's around about 140 thereabouts miles per gallon. That's mad, absolutely mad. That's what you're getting with this car. And it really does do what it says on the tin. Charging times, well, now we're talking. This is very unique, this car. It's like a Tesla, I hate to say it, but it is, in the fact that there are only a few cars on the market today that you can charge using a 350 kilowatt charger. That's if you can find one. They're few and far between. But if you can charge this car using that. It will do 0 to 62 miles of charge, in wait for it, 4 minutes. That's like, poof! That's not even enough time to go in and pay for it, if you get my drift. If you were buying petrol, that's less time it takes. That's incredible. I know you're saying, well, they're few and far between, it's highly unlikely. But the fact is, they are putting more of those in. So eventually, this car will be well set up for that. You'll be able to whiz in there, top up 60, 70 miles, whatever you want, and get straight out again. Currently at the moment on a 50 kilowatt, which is your very common one that you're going to find all over the place, it will take around about an hour to charge 0 to 80%, which again is very good when you think 80% of 3. Oh, look at that, it's closed itself. I like that. So yeah, just remember that is still very, very good indeed. On the home charger, that's your 7 kilowatt charger, it takes around about 10 hours. So if you come home and say you've only got 20% of battery left, you've been out on a run or a few runs, you've got 20% of battery left, you will charge this car back to 100% in 10 hours on a 7 kilowatt home charger. The little plug-in one that we use, the 13 amp plug one, I mean, that's for basically just topping up here and there. It takes 30 odd hours to charge this from 0 to 80%. So don't rely on that. You do need a home charger if you're buying one of these. But all in all, I mean, thinking about the actual charging times and that, car is well up there again with the top of the range, everything, and it's going to really help with that range anxiety when you get out on the road. Love the design on the back here. A lot of aero going on up the top here as well. That's essential in an electric car because you need this to travel through the air as silky smooth as possible to give you the maximum MPG or whatever battery you're using, whatever battery power it is. Again, that nice Kia logo in the middle there, obviously a little EV6 badge here. There's no exhaust, you weren't expecting that. Well, it's an electric, so there wouldn't be, would there? One thing I love, really, really love about this car is the lighting system. So you've got the LEDs, they go all the way around here. That's your brake lights as well. But the indicator lights are here. Now on this, they look like they're silver, if you look here, and they're sort of got a diamond pattern to them. And I love the way they flash as well. Look at that, doesn't that look gorgeous? That's really neat. That's something very unique about this car as well. You've got that lovely floaty screen at the back. Again, absolutely massive. So reversing this car is superb. Although you've got the reverse camera and the beepers as well, all with the standard entry-level car as well. Don't forget that. But this one it's one of those floaty screens because there's no rubbers there. Look at that, it's pin sharp all the way around. And all of the cars come with this privacy glass at the back, which keeps it cooler during the summer, means you don't have to put the aircon on as much, therefore you're not using as much battery power. I do love this wing across here. Again, all that aero is helping, not only to keep this a bit clean, but at the same time, whizzing this through the air smoothly. Right, let's have a look inside. The boot release catch is here. On this particular car, there's no assisted lift, but who needs it? Look how quick that went up. Got massive gas struts here, nice and high as well, so I'm not going to bang my head on it. Parcel shelf, it just pulls out. It's on a roller system here. I like those as well, they're really nice. So it sits there like that. I hate parcel shelves, you know that. If you've watched me in the past, I always throw these things away unless they go underneath. We'll check that out in a minute. Let's pop that back anyway, so it's popped out the way just to show you. So there's 490 litres of boot space in here. Plenty. You'll get about 7 carry-on suitcases in here, absolutely easy. Equivalent to a couple of Labradors, and even when we put the seats down, a huge wolfhound if you want, because when we put the seats down it goes up to 1,390 litres, which is massive. So plenty of room, a lot of versatility, we like that as well. The only thing I will say is because of the shape of the back here, you do tend to lose a little bit of height with the actual rake on this. Anyway, but that's, you know, I'm getting a bit nitty-gritty there, nitty-picky, that's a better way of putting it. You've got over here a couple of handles, one either side. So the split on the seats, they call it a 60-40. I call it a 20-80 because it is split that way. I don't see why you call it 60-40. Anyway, 20-80, that one pops down like that, pull the lever back, look at that, and then I'll pull the other one over here, and there she goes. Now we do need to get the parcel shelf out the way, so we've now got nearly 1,400 litres of space. Let's pop this parcel shelf out. Simple as that. One hand, guys, one hand I did that with. I know I'm a professional, but I'm telling you, even you can do that. You can train yourself up to become a parcel shelf remover if you really want to. No, don't do that. This does go under here. I've tested it. Before I put it in there, you've got a separate little panel down here. There's a little box in the back here. It's got the tyre emergency kit, which is complete. They call it a tyre mobility kit. They can't even spell it either. It says T-I-R-E. Never mind. You know, it's got the latex in there. The latex is useless. It's supposed to pour it in a tyre and then it inflates again because you get a little pump and it doesn't work. Throw it away. Get yourself some run flats because you can't get a spare wheel with this car. You can't even get a space saver in it because the battery, the motor, sorry, is right at the back there. So it's right in the way. So that's about all you can get. Throw them away. It's a waste of space. Get yourself a good, decent set of run flats. So that'll work. I'm going to pop that back down again. Now, this parcel shelf will fit rather nicely, but you have to remove this side first. So you pop that out like that. Throw it over there out the way for a minute. And then you simply turn this around like that. You manoeuvre it in slowly from this side. Just pull it back like that. Pop it in there. Look at that. It's all fitted in nicely. Get your little bit of plastic like that. Pop it back in there. Look at that, sorted. Drop that over the top like that. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's a rude word. Check it out, guys. I mean, that is just stunning. I love it. There's a couple of bits and pieces that you will find here, tie-off points and stuff like that, which is really handy if you are putting some, you know, bigger loads in there. But as I say, tremendous versatility and at the same time, huge amount of space. What's not to like about the Kia EV6? Here in the back for the passengers, well, it really is very, very good. Look at the leg room you get in here. It's more like a limousine than a car. And there's loads of lovely little design bits. Let's start with the doors. Straight up, that's almost 90 degrees. Look, you can get a child seat in and out of it easily. That's a superb little attribute to have. And the designers have obviously thought about that. Also, getting elderly or infirm people, or anybody just generally climbing in and out of this car is so much easier when the door goes all that way back. Another thing which I've noticed is look at the size of that window. Now, when I mean the size, the actual width and the depth of it, because if it's way below your shoulder line, for those of you that suffer with, you know, car sickness sitting in the back here, that's going to really help. And the fact that it's also got the privacy glass in it as well. So all of that is helping to make it more pleasant in the back here. One thing I did notice, I looked down the middle here and I was looking for the USB chargers I was expecting and the independent heating controls. Well, there were none there. And then I realised that the geniuses at Kia have gone, you know what, we won't put them down there because they get all fuddled up and mixed up. And if you're trying to move about, it's really difficult. We'll put them in the seats, one either side. How cool is that? That's nice. That's a lovely little touch. I love that. And you're probably saying, well, yeah, but the vents aren't there, are they? No, they're not. They're in the door pillars, which is even nicer because you've got a much, but you know, when they're down there, they're blowing up you, almost blowing up your nose, so to speak. Here, you can actually have it on your body here, which is where you want to be cooled. Sadly, you can't adjust the heat or make it colder, which is a shame in a way, because if they would have had that, it would have just been too perfect. But you can turn the air on and off, but then you're just down to your passenger or your driver to change the temperature settings, which again is great. No granny stockings in the back here. Look at these. These are proper. These are like, you know, when you go in business class on the aircraft. Look at that. That's really nice. I like that. Again, look at the shape of the seat, the way it's been designed. Look at the headrest. There's a lot of thought gone into this. It's not just, oh, we're throwing a couple of seats. And look at the material and the actual design and the quality of it all. It really is top. I think, you know, Kia have thought long and hard about this car. It's not just been a slap it together and just get it out in the electric market. This has been thought about. There's no transmission tunnel in here, as you would expect, because there isn't a transmission as such. It's just the batteries underneath here. One thing I have noticed as well with Kia, all Kia cars, they don't have those horrible Isofix pulley-outy bits, you know, the plastic bits that you lose, you end up having to buy more, or in the worst case scenario, the dog chews it up, or even a kid gets it in its mouth. I think what Kia do is brilliant. They're recessed back there, a bit like the seat belts. They're recessed so you can slide across easily. I'm going to slide across while I'm doing that, just to check it out for the third passenger in the back here. And to be honest, you easily get 3 adults in here, and even someone of 6 foot, over even over 2 meters. Look at the height in here. It's incredible. It's been well thought about. Another thing which is well thought about is, I love the fact you get a nice sort of armrest in the back here with your double cup holder. Lovely. And then, if you look through here, we've got a ski hatch. Yes, look, you can access it from this side as well. You can get your arm through there, put your ski. Oh, hang on a minute. I just realised we're here in the UK, aren't we? Yeah. Rewind, let's go back again. Ready? Hang on, let's do it again. And guess what you get over? Well, yes, it's called the DIY hatch. Yeah, we can get our wood through here and anything long, tools and things like that. Because sadly here in the UK, if you say ski hatch, they go, well, we don't really need a ski hatch. We don't really go skiing. There's about 2% of the UK goes skiing every year, and they certainly don't take the car. We have to jump on a plane to get to a proper mountain. So, bit of a waste of space in the UK for that. However, us DIYers here in the UK, it's absolutely perfect because this car is over 4 meters long. That means you're going to get a 2 meter piece of wood through here. And there aren't many cars that will give you that much wood. There we go. I thought I'd end on that one. Look, all in all, joking apart, it is a wonderful place to sit. You could easily sit in here for a couple of hours, be comfortable, jump out, and get 3 of you across the back here with ease. What more do you want, guys? Up front for the driver. First up, keyless entry, keyless ignition. I love the front of this car. Just look at the shape of it. It's so futuristic. It's beautifully put together. You've got 2 12.3-inch TFT touchscreens up the front here, linked together to give one massive great screen. Let's fire it up. So to fire it up, you just put your finger on the start button there and your foot on the brake there. Obviously, there are no gearboxes with this. You get the dial gear selector. I'm going to turn the sound down. You get a dial gear selector here. So it's simply, you've got reverse, you've got forward, and then the park button is in the middle. And it actually comes up there. It lights up just to let you know. There is a little place to put the keys on this. It's just in here. And if you're really lucky, you might find some loose change hanging about, which will go towards my chocolate later on. I should put that in my pocket. Thanks, cameraman. On this car, obviously being slightly higher up in the trim levels, you get a few extra bits and pieces. So what you are going to see are a couple of extra bits, like the charging pad here for your wireless charging, which is very nice. Inside here, you've got a cubby, which is quite large. There's no charging in there, but you don't need that because I'm going to show you in a minute. But it's a good place to store bits and pieces. Like I say, you've got a place to put your keys there. You've got a double cup holder there, like that. Then at the front here, you've got your heating controls on the front of this whole section here. Really nicely put together as well, just to let you know. So you've got your heated front seats and your heated steering wheel, which I mentioned, they all come as standard with the entry-level car. That's the Air trim, just to mention that. On the steering wheel itself, to the right-hand side here, you have your media control. So you've got your volume control, you've got your channel control. Up the top, you've got your mode, so you can switch between DAB radio, Bluetooth, whatever. You've got your Ask Kia button at the top here as well. Really nice, simple. Kia, well, you don't say Kia, you just say, you push the button and say, I need to go to a petrol station, or I want to go and get a sandwich, or whatever. It will do it. I think you get the gist now, you know. This is a star button down here. You can assign that with a command. I've actually got it assigned to a couple of different things that I've liked. You just set that up yourself when you do it in your computer over there. And then the bottom right-hand side is your telephone answer and decline or turn down. Left-hand side, driving aids, very simple. Top left is your speed limiter and your cruise control button. You've got your distance control on here, got your menu control here. There's a central menu section here. Just simply control that by pushing that. It will come up with a compass, gives you it even tells you when you need a coffee break in this car. I like that. I've got it set on the miles per gallon and that sort of stuff. You've got lane keeper down here as well, turning off here and on. You've got a drive mode down here. There are, if I push the drive modes, 4 different drive modes. You've got Eco, which is what I normally drive the car in. I'll push it again because it disappeared. You've got Normal and Sport. You just scroll through it by pushing the button like that. And then if you hold the button down, it will go into Snow mode, which it just gives you added grip in slippery conditions. But either way, you should really be in the Eco mode for most of your driving. Now, on the steering wheel here, you notice we've got flappy paddles. Now, obviously, there's no gears in this car. These are your regen paddles. Now, basically, what it does, it's increasing or decreasing the regen amount. If you go 3 clicks, that will give you the max, and then hit and hold will give you the full regen that you're going to get with this car. Now regen, if you're not aware, I'm sure you all are, is coasting and braking is the amount. This car will actually brake itself in the maximum, so it will brake almost to the point where you don't need to use the brakes. Once you get used to driving it, it's utterly brilliant. I can now drive this car, anticipate ahead of me, obviously not in an emergency, but in general day-to-day driving, I can anticipate in the full regen, I can actually back off and allow the car to slow down. That will regen the battery, unfortunately not back to its full amount, but it will give you that extra added mileage when you're driving. So there are your regen buttons. Standard headlights, you can set it into the auto, does it all itself, and again with the washers on the right hand side here. I like the stalks on this car, they're very nice. Everything feels solid and built. It all feels like it's value for money as well. Over on the right hand side here, you've got another section of buttons, and basically you've got the luminosity button, so you can change the luminosity of this by just turning that up and down, and it will come up illumination in there and give you a percentage. There is a fuel release cap button there, which is rather nice, makes the thing pop out of the back. Now, you remember I admitted to having to go online. If I'd have seen that when I got in the car, it would have made life a lot easier because I could have pushed that and then I'd look around the car. But, you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing, as they say. To the left of that is your handbrake, believe it or not. It's one of those electronic handbrakes. And then to the left of that is your stability control. I suggest you leave that on, unless you're out on the track, of course, and then you can have a bit of fun in one of these cars, especially that GT, I can imagine. But check it out, guys. What a lovely, lovely display. Another good thing, an amazing bit of genius technology here. So at the moment, you can see this has got my radio on there, it's got my media, it's got the setup, and again, these are all touch sensitive. So if I go into map, it'll come up there. Go into nav, and obviously got my star setting buttons. Now I told you about setting the stars. I'll show you that in a minute. I've got mine set to live charging stations, live parking and traffic. I talk all about this when we get out on the road. I'm not going to tell you now. You can then go into your setup. There's all your widgets, your phone connection. You've obviously got Bluetooth in here. You've got Apple Play. You've got Android mirroring. Everything in this car. Absolutely everything. Now you see all that as it is now. Watch this. This is just genius. Push the little fan button like that. It now changes to your heating panel. Do you want me to do that again? I'm going to do that one more time. Ready? Bosh. Look at that. Now these become your heating controls. And again, guys, knobs. You know I love my knobs. Look, there's 2 decent knobs there. So that means when I get in the car with my gloves on, or in the winter, you know, or if I've got wet hands, it's pouring me rain, and getting in, immediately set my heating easy without having to go all over the screen and get it all muddy or dirty, or not be able to move it because it's wet or because I've got cold hands. How neat is that? It is absolute genius, that. I love it. I'll do it one more time because I think it's so nice. So there's all your settings. So you've got your radio, you've got your media, your setup. And then if you want your heating controls, boom, there you go. Look at that. Superb. I would suggest that you keep the air conditioning off. Just use your heating. It's quite adequate unless it's really hot or really, really cold. It's as simple as that. Okay, charging points in this car. There are so many, it's ridiculous. You've got USB down here, USB-C to the left, then you've got another USB here and a 12-volt adapter down there. There's a massive great area down here as well to store bits and pieces like your tissues. You've got to have your Kleenex, haven't you, when you're out in your car? Say no more. Glove box, let's check it out. Push button. It's a massive glove box. Now, I was expecting one of these because we always get these. In the press cars, they always give you these for emergency contacts just in case. But that's about it normally. For some reason in this car, I have the silk purse holding the Bible, the Kia Bible. Look at this. This is absolutely massive. That's such a waste of time and money. Look, this is huge. I'm going to get it out because, look, I mean, seriously? You're going to read this? You're going to, like, I need to change a fuse. Right, okay, yeah, I'll get there in the end. You know, come back in 10 minutes, still looking for the fuse. Just go online, guys. We don't need this. Do you know what? This car's even got that on the computer. Why do we need it twice? Why? Don't get it. Throw that away, save a bit of money, save a little bit, you know, eco-friendly for the planet. All that paper, all those trees, I can't even get it back in there. And the biggest thing of all, look how big that glove box is now. If I put that in there, it's taken up half the glove box. You get my drift. Guys, listen, I've waffled on enough about this car. I've absolutely waxed lyrical about this car. Stationary. What we need to do is get it out on the road and give you our road evaluation and then summarise the Kia EV6. I love driving electric cars. There's just something about an electric car. It's just that sheer power that you get. There's no gear change. There's sort of like a whoosh, and it just goes, and you just hang on to it. And this car in the sports mode really does perform. There we go, a little warning from the inbound collision warning system. There was a car turning right in front. It felt I was approaching too fast. So it just goes to show everything works in this car. We've got summer showers going on, so all the safety aids starting to come into their own. You've got the blind spot mirrors on this car, we've got distance control, we've got lane keeping, cruise control, we've got lane departure, autonomous braking in town. There is absolutely everything jam-packed on this car to keep you safe when you're out on the road. Now, do bear in mind there are 4 different trim levels, and I mentioned that at the beginning. The car we are driving is the GT line, so it gets a few extra bits and pieces. I've also mentioned that as well. So, and I did tell you what you get on the Active, your entry-level car, so don't misconfuse any of that when I'm telling you about what I've got on this car. But if you jump up to that GT line, and you get these extra bits and pieces, which I think is well worth the extra money that you're going to pay. So just talking a little bit more about the car itself, what it's like to drive. Very, very nice setup on the suspension, really well balanced as well. Great braking on this car, and I love, even when I've got the regen on full regen, I love the fact that I can almost judge now, you know, when the car in front is slowing down, I can just let the car slow down like that, just take my foot off, and look, it will almost, well, it does actually stop the car on the full regen. There you go, it really does work. I mean, all in all, I don't think you can really go wrong with this car if you go for that sort of middle level when it comes to the trim level. So yeah, really, really enjoying driving this. When you buy a Kia car, not just an EV6, any Kia car, you get one of the best warranties on the market. In actual fact, it's an award-winning warranty. It's 7 years or 100,000 miles, whichever comes first, which is fantastic. I mean, you're not going to beat that. It really is one of the best. On top of that, there's a 10-year or 100,000 mile warranty on your powertrain. You get a 5-year or 100,000 mile warranty on your anti-perforation, your paintwork. So it's really good to cover any of your rusty bits, for example. And in addition to that, there's a 7-year or 100,000 mile warranty on the battery on the electric cars. So you're covered all the way round. On top of that, if you do sell the car, so say after 2 or 3 years you want to move on, get a different car, you can sell those. Well, that warranty goes with the car, and the remainder of whatever's left on that warranty will be covered for the new owner as well. Just make sure when you do your service plan agreements with your Kia salesperson, you get the right one that suits you and covers all those bits and pieces as well. I'm sure they will explain all that when you get down for your test drive. And if all that wasn't enough, just to cover you that little bit extra, you get 5 years or 60,000 miles, whichever comes first, roadside assistance. 5 years, guys. I mean, it is a simply incredible product, the warranty that comes with a Kia car. Like I say, it's not just for the EV6, that's right across the range. Don't think you can really go wrong with that. So there's something about this car for the range anxieties that I want to talk about, because it's obvious when you buy an electric car, the first thing you're going to do as soon as you get in it, you want to see how much range you've got. If you're getting a petrol car, it's totally different. You jump in, you look down, maybe there's only a quarter of a tank of fuel, and you know wherever you're going to go, you can just top up with fuel instantaneously. And there's always, you know, a fuel station within a few miles of where you are, unless you're in the middle of nowhere. But primarily when you're doing your everyday driving, you don't have that range anxiety worry because of that reason. Now, a good thing that Kia do with this car, they put the actual range that you've got left up there very visibly to your top right, and it tells you how far you've got. I'm going to give you a tip here as well. If you want to keep that range nice and high, drive it on your eco mode. I think I mentioned that earlier, but in addition, keep the regen up nice and high, keep it to its max, because that will help. So you're in eco, you're in max, and you don't need air conditioning on a 24/7 basis in this car. It's really nice, unless it's really hot or it's really cold. To be honest, you can have that just set up as normal. It's, you know, you can have a blower on or whatever, but not using the aircon will again save you quite a few miles. So it's well worth taking those 3 little tips I've just given you. Will give you that extra mileage. But we've still got that range anxiety. Well, have we? it's great. This car will do between 3.7 and 4.5 miles to the kilowatt, which is amazing. You know, as we said, 33 miles per, you know, when it comes to petrol, that's 33 miles to the gallon times that amount. Incredible. And this car is actually doing that. But just to make things even better, if you could go one stage further, Kia have come up with something called Kia Live. Now, Kia Live, if you go onto your home screen, you've got all your widgets here. Just slide across to the last screen, and then you'll see it says Kia Live. Push Kia Live, and 3 widgets will come up. One will say live parking, one will say live charging stations, and the other one says traffic. Now, this is stunning the way this works. So basically, if I'm driving along and say I only had 40 miles of range left, I can then push live charging stations. It will search for a couple of seconds, and then within a few seconds, there you go, it will come up with all the stations that are near me within a few miles. Not only will it come up with those stations, it has a little map pinpointing where they are. You can actually go onto that map and say set as destination, and it will take you to that charging point. It tells you what charging company owns that charging point, so you can judge whether you want to go to that one. Maybe you're not signed up with New Motion, for example, or you know, there's another one here, Pod Point. That's what we've got here in the UK. You can choose which one you want to go to. Not only that, it will tell you how many people are actually using it at that time. So if there's only one left, you might choose to go on to a different one where there's more charging, you know, options there. I mean, it's just incredible. I know what you're going to say. AJ, they've got apps on your phone for that. Yes, I know they have. They've got Zap, for example, which I use. But you've got to clutter your phone, you've got to get on your phone, you know, it takes your concentration away from the driving. It's all those bits and pieces that Kia have gone, you know what, we'll actually build it into the car because it makes life easy. And that's what I think Kia do when they build cars. They make life easy for us. And they're taking away the range anxiety. Because this car, when you're on a journey, if you plug into your map where you're going, it will actually work out for you where you need to stop. So if you're going off to, let's say, a long distance, you know, maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours in your car, and you know you're going to have to get some charge sooner or later because it's way over the mileage that, you know, this car will work out for you exactly where to stop. And if you change your mind and you want to go somewhere where perhaps, you know, you're going to have to put in a 40-minute or a 1 hour bit of charge, it'll offer you places with, you know, cups of tea and coffees and buns and things like that. I mean, it's just brilliant. And going back, if I just flick back one, I go back to live parking. Again, it will search around the area. So if you're in a strange area, you don't know where to park your car, it will search that area and give you parking options as well. And on top of that, you've then got traffic, live traffic as well. Again, you just tap that and it will go straight into traffic, and it's simply brilliant. It will tell you where any of the traffic jams are. It can avoid it, and it does local traffic as well, guys. It does local traffic, so not just motorways and big A roads. Unbelievable. So there you have it, guys. That was the Kia EV6. And I've got to say, when it comes to choices, that versus that is a bit of a no-brainer in my book, because this, on price point, is so much better. On looks, it's so much better. And at the same time, it can do the same range, and if you really want to go for the power, it can do the same power as well. I think all in all, this is definitely worth a little trip down to your Kia showroom and give one a test drive. Whichever brake horsepower you go for, you are not going to be disappointed with this car, trust me. It's probably one of those innovative cars that I'm going to be talking about for the next 10 years, saying this was the car that really led the way when it came to innovation. This was the car, this was the company that went, you know what, fingers up to the rest of the industry, we can do better. And they've proved it. You've been watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. I hope you've enjoyed our review of the Kia EV6 as much as we've enjoyed filming it over the last week or so. It's been a valuable addition to the AJ family, shall I say, of electric cars at least anyway. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. You got any questions, you want to know anything else about this car or any other bits and pieces about the channel, just leave a comment down in the box below and one of the team will get back to you in due course. That's a promise. If you wouldn't mind giving us a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it, because we don't get a bonus, we don't get paid any extra, but we get a pat on the back from the bosses and the sponsors to say, job well done. Because if you thumbs up, that means you liked what we were doing or what we've done. So I'd really appreciate it, guys. Thanks. Don't forget you can subscribe down there, but leave the bell sign unchecked because, as you know, we do hundreds and hundreds of videos, not just car reviews, all sorts of reviews, different interviews, bits and pieces, because we're part of The Player. And this is where you can get your hands on something for free, and I mean completely free of charge. We produce a book called The Player. It's a bookazine because it comes out like a magazine on a frequency of a magazine. It comes out every 3 months. It's a 220-page, all guys, all men's, all singing and dancing, men's lifestyle magazine. Now, can't give you the actual book itself because they cost £100 UK each, but the online version, which is exactly the same, is completely free to you because you watch me on YouTube. Just go over to www.theplayer.co.uk. One sec, I will bring it in there. It's down there. I'll leave it up for a few seconds so you can memorise it. Just head over to that www.theplayer.co.uk, go up to the top, and you'll see it says register. Now, I don't want to know your inside leg measurement, how many dogs you got, how many girlfriends or how much you drink. I just need to know your name and your email. As simple as that. You can either then download it or you can view it online. With your finger, you can turn the pages, or with your mouse, depends what peripheral you're using. But either way, you're going to find it's full, 220 pages full of jet skis, motorbikes, cars, boats, interviews, golf, holidays, food, drink. It's all in there, guys. Everything we love, and it's yours completely free of charge. All you got to do is get over there and get it. Thanks for watching. I will catch you next week with something a bit different, but hopefully it's as equally as good as the Kia EV6.